Oh, we should have worn Christmas hats. Hello, everybody. Oops, you heard me
Howdy.
say that. Merry Christmas. Almost. Just a few days away from the holiday. This is Friday with Fran. Fran and I, Fran and I, just come together and we chat about things related to special education, having disabilities, raising children with disabilities. And we thank all of you who have been with us for the last several years that we've done this. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, if we continue to do this in the new year, you will still join us for those as well. So, Merry Christmas, Fran.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
It is. It is. Oh, my cat just jumped up here too.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
it and it seems like it's been so rush, and I don't want to lose focus of the reason for the season, but I want to share my love with my loved ones, but I want to help them get through this holiday season without any meltdowns. So I thought maybe we could just touch base. I know we've talked on it in the past, but I thought maybe we could just touch base on it again, how to navigate the season. Hi, Mom. Merry Christmas.
Hi, Mom. Merry Christmas. Yeah. This year seems tougher. I don't feel like I have a whole lot of Christmas spirit, whatever that is. I mean, I'm happy,
Mm,
I'm joyful. And, as you mentioned, the reason for the season, which is Jesus's birth. And I have that in my heart all year round. So it seems difficult for me to be in a particular mood right now
mm-hmm.
that I think a lot of people only exhibit at this time of the year, or they maybe not only, but they ramp it up,
Right.
that mood. Um, so yeah, interestingly enough, you titled this. What did you title it today?
Holiday humbugs.
Holiday humbugs, and I had thought about saying bah humbug. Yes or no? Because I mean,
uh,
Kevin and I were just talking about it. That there's so much. There's these expectations, and I'm not sure if they're truly societal expectations or if it's expectations that we put on ourselves or if our families put on us or if our kids put on us. Um, and I feel like there's the expectation to do exactly what you said at the beginning. Like, just do this, do the shopping, get the food prepared, go to the holiday parties, go to the family gatherings, to go to the Christmas concerts and the whatever else. Um, and I think it's difficult to allow yourself to just sit and
and
be.
B. Yeah.
So how do you notch out time for yourself?
How do you?
Yep.
Are you having a bah humbug day? How do I not? How do we? How does one? Um, that's a loaded question.
Hmm.
But I guess the best way would be to start with breathing,
Okay. I mean, you need to do that every day.
but taking a breath, just taking a breath. Let's do that. Take a breath
Okay.
and then let it out slowly. What did your body do when you took that breath?
My shoulders raised, my chest got tight. Um, but then when I let it go, I felt a little bit more relaxed.
Isn't that amazing?
It
And
is.
I have no training or anything about breathing and therapy and relaxation, but I do know that you're supposed to do that when you're stressed.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something about and it's like I didn't do it correctly because you're supposed to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I don't know why that is, what the effect is, but that's most people that I talk to that do any kind of breathing exercises. That's what they do: is in through the nose, out through the mouth. Yeah, I agree with you. The closer Christmas gets, the more I miss loved ones who are no longer here.
Hmm. It's true. I'm sorry, and I send you big hugs for all those that are missing loved ones. Um, it's a time that we miss them, but it's also a time we can remember them, remember the good times, remember the cherished times, um, as well, not to minimize the missing, the loss, and the emptiness, but how we can turn that sometimes is to focus on the good stuff that we did have with them.
Mhm. Yeah, I have several friends and family who have, including myself, lost loved ones. And my cousins, I lost two uncles and an aunt this year. And so I had sent messages to them and messages to neighbors and other friends who have lost loved ones that I hope they can find joy in their memories this holiday season.
Mm.
Because it is like, I don't know. I remember the year that my dad died, and I had a feeling similar to this that I'm now in. This is like, it's just a day. It's just a day on a calendar that somebody chose as the
Mm.
day to celebrate Jesus's birth. Um, so yeah, I think it's very difficult. And I mean, I know someone who, um, within the last 2 days, um, and I forget how you say days, all the around the clock, all the time.
Okay.
Um, and they lost their dad to a heart attack. And I, as close as it is to Christmas, that just makes it even harder. But I mean, I've known
Mm.
people who have lost loved ones, a couple of weeks ago, all the from church day to church days, or so yeah. I mean, I don't. It matters, but it doesn't matter. Um, what have we lost track of? Time. There's a delay.
Mm.
I tried to set this up so that as instantly as somebody types in their response, it pops up, but there's still a delay of when something pops up.
That it is Jesus' birth.
Yeah. Okay. And there's so much commercialism, you know, and I feel like it's stress. You got to get the Christmas cards out. You got to get the Christmas presents. You got to get the gifts to to the neighbors and the friends and the coworkers and the secret Santas at work, and the gift exchange with your kids' friends, and if you have younger ones that you're buying their gifts for them to exchange. And then you have teacher gifts to buy if you have kids in school or make, and it's too much.
So where did this societal expectation come from?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it came from a good place. Somebody had a heart to acknowledge their neighbors and how much they appreciate them, or their child's teacher and how much they appreciate that person. Um, but, then there's that, while we don't recognize it, there's that competitive part I think, in everybody that's like, oh, well, you know, this child's parent did this for the teachers. And so next year mine has to be better than that. Or
Yeah.
I really like
see
this
that.
teacher, so I should express that bigger than the teacher that I only liked a little bit.
Mhm.
Why this particular day? Right. Why does it have to be on this particular day? Why can't we do it all year round? And she just
Don't
said
we
that.
do something all year? Yeah. I- Because society has stated this is when we do it.
Right.
And so we're in this group. So how can we, within these societal expectations, find peace and joy in the midst of it so that we're not living in a humbug, bah humbug world?
I don't know. What do you do?
This may sound cliche. I just do me. I do what I need to do to get by. I um like I thought I had to buy a new van, and I thought I was going to have to buy a new van very quickly. So that was overriding all of anything gift related, Christmassy or anything. It was like I was frantically searching for a van. So that took the focus off of it. And then some other things have come up, and now my van will just have to be fixed. But which is, and we figured it out, and God was gracious and gave the ability and how to do it. But in the midst of it, it took me out of the focus, the rat race of, oh, I got to get gifts for this person, and I got to get Christmas cards, and like I had told you previously, I ran out of Christmas cards, and you know what? I just ran out of Christmas cards, and that's all there is to it. I'll know next time to ask somebody to help me with the numbers so that I can actually order the right amount of Christmas cards. That's the thing when you can't do numbers ordering. You end up with some really random stuff sometimes because you like clicked a couple times and didn't know you clicked a couple times,
Oh, right.
and you have multiples of toothbrushes that you don't need that many toothbrushes. Um, but thankfully you can return lots of things, so it works out. But anyway, so how do I do it? And I said I do it by doing me. I don't allow myself to focus and compare um myself with others, because when I do compare myself with others, I do get sucked into the, ooh, look at what they did.
Right.
But I know that in my own ability and with the means that I have, I can only do certain things. And so I just have to do that. And so I try not to get involved in that. So that's how I kind of do it. Not exactly, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. And I think that's very key. I had, honestly, a similar conversation with my own counselor about this recently. And her advice to me was to continue to be my authentic self. And,
Hmm.
if people don't know me well enough to know that what I do is from the heart, and I do appreciate, and I do love, and I do, you know, try to recognize and say thank you to people. Um, I have to be me. So, um, I think that goes along with what you said, just, just being you. Um, and, and as you were talking, it hit me that everything that we were talking about, we are not remembering and focusing on the reason for the season. And if
Hmm.
we just did that,
Yeah.
that we would have maybe that joy. Yeah, exactly. And I think what Mom said, why do we follow this even when we don't want to follow this? And again, I think it's just we get caught up in the stuff around us and we lose our focus on where it's supposed to be. And something that I have said for years for all the calendars is, I'm not trying to make people happy with me anymore. I'm trying to make God happy with me. And if God is happy with me, that's the best I can do. And so if I'm not looking at him and not trying to do things that are pleasing to him and to follow his word, and it doesn't say anywhere in his word that you have to give gifts to people on a certain day of the year to honor the birth of his son. So, just I think getting my focus back to that and asking him, what do you want me to do? How can I honor you and bring joy? Am I supposed to bring joy to other people? And if I am, how do I do that? Is it through gifts? Is it a phone call? Is it a Christmas card? And changing my perspective, instead of, oh, I just got 6 more Christmas cards in the mail and now I need to send out 6 more Christmas cards. If I changed my perspective to, I just got 6 other people who sent me a card because they wanted me to know they were thinking about me. And now I get to send them a card back that I'm thinking about them and wishing them joy at Christmas time. It doesn't make it a daunting task. It makes it a happy thing.
A thing of joy.
Yeah.
I think as I'm thinking on the season and everything, and what I've been marveling at so much is the joy of his birth, the joy of our Savior's coming. And joy is not an emotion or a feeling, it's a state of being.
Right.
And I find joy in this season when I can focus on his birth, when I can focus on finding joy, seeing others experience joy. How can I help others experience joy? And as you were saying, is it a phone call? Is it a Christmas card? Is it a gift? But finding that for the other people in my life, that has given me joy and kept me from being in the humbugs of, oh, I got to get this and I got to get that.
Right. So when we're talking about our kiddos, and I asked this question in the group and you answered, but no one else answered. How do you prepare your kids? What do you have to do to get them ready for all of this stuff? All the parties, all the gatherings, all the hustle and bustle and all of that stuff.
Well, I pack my Santa bag because that's what it feels like by the time I get everything packed in it. Because I put in food that they like. I put in activities that they prefer to do. And that includes like chargers and all the electrical cords that go with it, and sound canceling headphones, earplugs, and changes of clothes, to name a few things. That's why I said I need Santa's bag.
Right. Yeah.
And that's just to go to a family member's house. That's not if we're going out in public.
What additional things do you do if you're going out in public?
Well, I make sure I have plenty of money to buy the things that pop up or have an out if I can't buy those things. And I also prep them. We're going here. This is what I think is going to happen. This is who I think you're going to see and who will be there. And this is how long I think we're going to be there. Because I want you to notice I don't tell them this is what's going to happen, and this, because I've learned you have no idea what's going to happen when you get somewhere. So don't say this is what's going to happen. You believe this is what's going to happen. And so I prep them, I pack my Santa bag, and off we go.
And I so appreciate you sharing all of that. And I so appreciate that extra tip of you can't say, or you shouldn't say, this is what is going to happen. Because I'm sure you've learned that through experience, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. What happened when you said this is going to happen and then this didn't happen?
Yeah, I said a long time ago, Santa's going to be here. Well, guess what? The Grinch was there. Santa was not there.
Oh.
My kids didn't even know who the Grinch was. So this was like major crisis.
Right.
On one of the kids. And so we had to leave because I couldn't cajole. I couldn't bribe. There was nothing happening. It was just we had to go, and because we could not get it under control. So
right.
Yes, we have learned this is what is supposed to happen, but I cannot guarantee it.
Right. And that's so incredibly important. And so I hope if there are parents with younger children, but even older children who need to know what's going to happen as much as possible, that if you tell them something is going to happen and then it doesn't happen, that sets a sad precedent because they're going to be disappointed. They may not be able to handle what
their trust is broken.
Happen. Right. And so saying something like, I think this is what's going to happen, but having taken the time at some point or at that time as well to say, I cannot tell you exactly what is going to happen and help them understand why that is. But being able to prepare them as much as possible. And then all the steps that you put into place, you've learned. You probably didn't have all of those things
in
your bag of tricks, your toolbox bag.
My Santa toolbox.
Yeah. And so helping people understand, like, okay, these were the mistakes that I made. So maybe you want to do, take the chargers, take the change of clothes, take the extra toys or the food. Those are things that I certainly, as a parent of a neurotypical child, never thought about, but it might be something that someone of a neurodivergent child hasn't thought about either.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe, like I said, they have young children and they haven't experienced it yet.
Right. And I still use these techniques with my adult children. I still, okay, we're heading out. We may not do it in the house before we go. We may do it in the car on the way now instead. But okay, this is the plan. these are my expectations of you guys. And these are what you can expect out of me. But who knows what's going to happen here, because I don't know. And so if I don't know the plan, that's what I tell them. I have no idea. So we're going to have to go with the flow. So you're going to have to be flexible.
And how does that work out?
For the most part, well, for my son, it goes pretty well. And for my daughter, it does not. But he tends to be more of the go with the flow, and she tends to be the more rigid. So
Right.
it makes sense for how they handle it. So,
Right.
but I wanted to touch on something, and it's kind of a chipmunk. So
Okay.
go with me.
All right.
But I was just thinking about our tool bags and packing and chargers, and it reminded me of the fact that I never go to a doctor with my kids without a charger, snacks, and a change of clothes in the car. Because I don't know how many times our doctor's visits ended up in the ER and in a hospital stay.
Oh my.
So I don't go to doctors without those things.
Okay.
And I bet you've never had to think about that.
Nope.
When
No.
you took Violet to a doctor.
No, not going to a regular doctor's appointment for sure. And honestly, there was only one time that I ever took her to, no, I'm sorry, there were 2 times that I took her to the emergency room. And even then, I didn't take a change of clothes or plan to spend the night. Now, the one time we spent almost all the way through the night, but we did, I mean, both times we got to come home. So, but yeah, that never crosses my mind when I'm going to the doctor for her or me.
Think, there was a time that you took me, and my bag was packed. I had everything I needed.
Yep.
And it was good because I ended up staying.
Yeah. Yep. That's true.
But anyway, sorry, that was my chipmunk.
No, I mean, that's a good point, that there's a lot of things. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There's a lot of things that you have to think about that I don't. And that's why I appreciate you being willing to share, because you don't, I mean, I don't have the same experiences that you do. And so you always help me understand things differently because I haven't experienced it. And hopefully with my teaching stuff, I've helped you understand some things differently because you hadn't thought about it.
For sure. So, but anyway, sorry, that was my chipmunk. I just wanted to throw it in there. It just it brought up the feelings of chargers. Yeah, gotta have the chargers, gotta have the iPad, gotta have the extra whatever's you need.
Right.
But and that it kind of covers whenever you go out, you generally have to have those extras. When you had Violet, you packed a diaper bag.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't continue to carry a diaper bag when Violet was a teenager.
No, exactly. But you still have to, basically. I mean, you know, that's not what it is. But
right. So many parents have to have a go bag because to make the life of their loved one doable. It's not because it's not a burden to have this go bag. It's not a burden to have to pack it. It's not a burden to have to. It's almost a sense of security, knowing, okay, I've got this. If this happens, I've got this. If this happens, I've got this. I believe I'm as prepared as possible to handle any random things or eventualities that will happen at this event that we are attending.
Yeah, I often think about the fact that I often just get up and go. You know, like if I have something to do in the morning, or if I'm working from home and I think, oh, I'm gonna run to the store, you know, because I don't have appointments or anything that's pressing that I have to get done in that moment. And I just pick up and go. But there's so much more thought that is involved in your life when you want to just pick up and go.
And now I have a minivan, so some stuff just travels with me all the time in the minivan. But when I couldn't drive following my stroke, I would have this heavy bag, and my friends would be like, "Why are you carrying this heavy bag around with you everywhere you go?" Oh, it's things I might need. It's my charger, it's my change of clothes, it's my med list, it's
Right.
you know, and some of them got it, and some of them just kind of were like, this heavy bag. But it is what it was, you know. And anyway, so but I think how can we help kids um in the midst of the extra chaos of being out of schedule, because we're out of schedule because we're not the kids aren't in school, so they're probably not sleeping. Their sleeping schedule is probably off, their eating schedule is probably off, and their activity schedule is probably for sure off. So how can we help it with all this chaos? What are
I
some
think
tips?
the main thing is to keep their schedule as close to when they're in school as possible. So for those kids who go to daycare during this time, it's a little bit easier because they still have to get up, they still have to get ready, and then they go to daycare. Now, exactly what's happening at daycare and the length of time they spend at daycare, because if you have kids who just go there before school, then they go to school and then they go back to daycare, I mean, now you've got the whole time that they would have been at school that they are at daycare. And so that's on the daycare to take care of. But um, having them go to bed at the same time, trying to have them get up at the same time. You know, a little fluctuation is okay, but that's one thing because our sleep is a huge factor in how we deal with things. Um, Trying to, as we've already talked about, you know, give them the heads up, like, hey, this is what's going to happen today. You know, and not necessarily, even if you use like a visual schedule, don't put the time on there, you know, like, okay, we're going to have
Mm-hmm.
breakfast and then we're going to have, you know, unstructured, like you get to choose the activities that you want to do. But if you have a child who has a tough time choosing from the whole world of activities, you know, then say, okay, you're going to read a book, or you're going to color, or you're going to play with your Play-Doh or your
That's good.
Barbies, or, you know, kind of, if you know that they have a tough time with that decision making, then give them like 3 or 4 options to do in that unstructured time. Giving them breaks throughout the day if you know that they are overwhelmed easily, and just like having some sensory breaks planned or having some downtime breaks planned, because we don't want to over structure. You know, we don't want to structure more than what they would have gotten had they been in school. And I think people realized during the pandemic, but not a lot of people understood it before, how much downtime there really is in school. You have switching classes, you have, you know, okay, you tell a group of your students to get their books out. Well, you got some who do it instantly and some that, you know, there's a span of time that it takes for them to get the book out. And so there's a lot of uh, individualized time where kids have what am I trying to say? They have to rely on themselves in those moments, you know, so allow that to happen,
Mm-hmm.
you know. If you're home every day with your kids and you're trying to come up with activities to do, um, have a, you know, kind of have an idea of like, okay, today I want us all to accomplish cleaning out this closet. or cleaning out, making the beds today and straightening up your bedroom, or spending 20 minutes reading somewhere in your day, and give them some structure, but not, again, structure every single minute of their day. Give them some choices of things that no matter which choice they choose, you'll be happy with the choice. So if it's lunchtime, are we going to have, and I mean, I know that not everybody can do these kinds of things either, but even within your means, try to figure out, like, okay, are we going to eat at 11 or are we going to eat at 12? Are we going to have hot dogs or are we going to have chicken nuggets? Things like that, so that they still feel that amongst all of the chaos, there's still a little bit of things that they're in control of.
That's good.
Behavior-wise, know that everybody is stressed right now, and things that may not normally be upsetting could potentially be upsetting right now because of all the stuff going on underneath the surface. And so try to take a breath, and just try to think for a second, okay, I'm stressed, that person's stressed. And it doesn't have to be your kids. It can be your spouse or your roommates or people at work or whatever. And just, okay, is this really something I need to address, or can I just let it go? Or do I need to let it go, but I want to address it? And I had that happen the other day. There was something that I really was like, oh, I just want to respond. I'm like, no, because it's not going to be beneficial. So, and I had to really struggle mentally, like, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything. And my mouth really, really wanted to say something. And I was like, no, we have to be quiet. We're not, no. I was able to walk away from the situation peacefully. Okay. And so, trying to remember that all of us feel societal pressures right now, as well as maybe our own pressures, or our own, and pressure sometimes comes from guilt, oh, I can't give my kids the Christmas I want to give them because, we had to buy a vehicle instead of being able to buy Christmas presents. Finding grace for yourself, that a lot of things at Christmas time are about wants and not needs, but needs are still more important. And you have to take care of the needs first.
That's good.
And Alex isn't here, but we need balance.
Yeah.
We need balance for all the things.
There is that word, balance.
Yeah. And a
Thanks,
lot
Mom.
of people and a lot of people are tired of hearing the word grace, but it is such an important word and such an important concept. Because
getting that which you do not deserve.
Yeah, exactly. So, saying, okay, I messed up, but I'm going to try to do better. I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to move on. I'm going to forgive myself because I'm human and I'm going to make mistakes. Oh, hi, Cooper.
He heard somebody outside. His sweater says merry and bright.
I saw that. Where did Emmy go? Or is she still there too?
No, she took off.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, he looks like he's on high alert. He's not relaxed on your shoulder like most times.
No, he's not.
Did he just bark a little?
I'm going to probably have to mute in a second because I think a whole bunch of people are coming in the house.
Oh, okay. Well, we can
But
also end if you need to go
no,
to
I
be
don't
with
need
all
to
of those
go.
people. Okay.
No, we just went grocery shopping. I left early today.
Oh, okay. Oh, yep. His ears are going. People,
Oh,
people
yeah.
are coming in and he's like, hey, what's going on?
Oh, he was playing with the cat. Even the
Oh,
animals are off in this holiday season. They're all over the place, I feel like.
I think animals sense when their humans are off kilter. And I think that does something to them as well.
So, did I tell you we don't have a tree up?
Nope, we don't either.
Yeah, we don't have a tree up because nobody wanted to put a tree up. I was like, but I think I want a tree next year.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you did tell me when I popped in at your house the one day
Yeah.
unexpectedly. You did
Yes.
mention it to me, but yeah, you had. I mean, we hadn't talked about it here. Um, but yeah, we didn't put a tree up this year. We're not going to be home on Christmas Day, and so we just didn't. I don't know. I'm not a big decorator anyway, and I'm definitely not the kind of person who changes the decorations for the seasons. I know some people, it's like, oh, it's Christmas, we got to put this up. Oh, it's fall, we need to put this up. Oh, it's spring, we need to put this up. I definitely don't do that. In the past, we've had more decorations up than what we have this year, but like neither one of us were really in the right frame of mind to want to put that kind of stuff up this year, especially since we're going to be gone a lot of the holiday season. Am I talking about you? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't.
You change your house for the holidays, Mom?
I mean, yeah, she does do. She does change a few things. That's not a lot of things. But I mean, I know people who like
My mom
all
changes
the.
the light bulbs for each season
Oh
in
yeah.
her porch. Like if it's
Oh.
this awareness, it's got those color bulbs. If it's this awareness, it's got those color bulbs, and
Okay.
she's got all kinds of bulbs for all the seasons.
Huh. No, I was talking about like some people will, and I don't think Mom does this, but like they'll change all the flowers in the house depending on the season. So if it's spring, they'll have spring kind of more springy flowers. If it's autumn, they'll have more autumn flowers. And different like throw blankets and throw pillows, depending on the time of the year.
Got it.
So it's like their whole house decor takes on a different look.
My mom does that.
Yeah.
Not the
That's not me.
flowers. She changes the bedding and okay, maybe she changes. Yeah.
And that's
That's part of the reason we don't have a tree, because my daughter helped her put up this many Christmas trees.
Oh, okay. That's a
And
lot
she
of
was
Christmas
done. She said, I'm done with trees.
Yeah, I don't blame her there. And I'm not the other thing that stresses me out about Christmas, and I have nothing against anybody who's like your mom and who changes all that stuff. And I appreciate people honestly who have that desire, because they're what makes the world prettier. Changing the things and showing off the different things at the different times of the year. But the other thing that stresses me out is getting a ton of Christmas presents. I'm not a good receiver. I'm a great giver. I am a horrible receiver.
Your love language is giving.
Yeah, definitely not receiving.
So is mine.
So it's always really hard for me.
You're like, thank you. Thank you. Yes. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying thank you. Okay. I don't want any more. You can take the rest back. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. And my mother-in-law is a big, 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 big giver. And she has always done that. And the more people in our family, that doesn't deter how much she gives. She still keeps giving and giving. I mean, like it for a very long time. And like the one year, I literally started to have a panic attack because there were so many people in this one room, and there was a stack of presents in and around every person that the stack around me for myself and the people around me was so high that I couldn't see. And I was like, okay,
Really?
this is too much. Like, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
So
what did you do? Because I'm sure you didn't, well, I don't know if you did or didn't have a meltdown, but what did you do to calm yourself and get through that?
I made people remove the presents that were around me. And I've spoken to my mother-in-law about the fact that it's too much for me. And so, at least for my things, she tries to honor that, and keep the number of things down. It's very,
Mm-hmm.
very difficult for her, though, because she just, and because I'm such a horrible receiver, then it makes me feel bad. I've done that. And like, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Thank you. Oh, this is great. Thank you. Now this year, I think it's this year. Maybe I was supposed to have done this last year, but I was joking with her because I forget what we were watching. And this person was making such a big deal, and it was obviously fake about whatever they were receiving. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And she dared me. And so, of course, now, I hope I didn't miss doing the dare, but I got to remember to do it this year. Every time I open a present from her, to just be like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And just be really silly with it because
it'll get you through.
It will. And I don't like having attention drawn to myself. So that's another reason I don't like it when people are watching me open presents. And there's so much stress. Like, because they want you to have a certain reaction. And they know when it's fake, I think. So,
Do you feel they want you to have a certain reaction, or do you know?
Oh, both. In some cases, I absolutely know. And honestly, I think in most cases I know. Because, I mean, when I give a gift, if I've like put a lot of thought into it, I think, oh, this is really going to make so-and-so happy. Or, oh man, this is really going to touch so-and-so. Oh, I know so-and-so really wants this. And then they open it and there's no reaction. That's disappointing. So, I mean, I think everybody's like that. Maybe not. Do you have certain reactions that you want people to have? Or no?
No, because I don't give it for a reaction.
Right.
I give it because I love them and I want them to have it. And so.
Yes, that's true.
But is it a needed predictable? So it's good.
Well, is it a needed predictable? I mean, I don't think any of us need that knowing what she's going to give us. Is that what you mean?
Mm-hmm. Is it something that's needed and much needed to be used or to be wanted or to be whatever? So it's good to have it.
Well, yes. And my mom is very generous in a different way than what my mother-in-law is. So it's still too much, but it's appreciated. I don't know. Maybe it's like now we're really getting into deep stuff here. Maybe I don't feel like I'm worthy to get all this stuff and to have people spend that kind of money on me. Maybe that's why I don't like receiving. I don't know.
That's deep. That's deep. Do we want to go there?
I don't think so. We don't have time.
But yes, I
I
agree
know
with
you
your
think I
mom. You
am.
are. Well, I agree with her. So there.
Okay, well, I'm outvoted.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just I don't know. I've never been a good receiver. And
I've had to learn. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, it's okay. And I need to learn. Because I do appreciate when people give me things. I just, in the moment that I'm getting it, I don't necessarily show my appreciation as well.
Do you think it's a pride thing that you don't need things and so, or you're self-sufficient? So why, when someone gives to you, it gets in your pride of, well, oh, I got something from somebody and it was something, I don't know. I'm just,
No, I think you're right. For the longest time, I really struggled with the fact that there are people who truly have a need, and the money that was spent on me for Christmas could have gone to help them with that need. And so that was a big part of it. I don't know if that's pride. Um yeah, you too, Mom. And it could be
Mhm.
pride. I'm not sure. But especially when some of the stuff was the societal stress of, and you kind of mentioned this earlier too, of those people who they have multiple children and each child needs to have approximately or have the exact same number of presents as each of the other ones.
Mhm.
And so when some of the stuff was like, okay, like nobody needs this, but you gave it to me because you needed to have more presents with my name on them under the tree because, everybody needed the same amount or close to the same amount. And then it was, well, is it the same amount monetarily or the same number of actual wrapped items? And to me, then it becomes out of it's still out of love, but it's out of a different place. It's a have to at that point, I think.
Mm. Got it. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm a very strange person when it comes to Christmas. And I have a whole lot of feelings about it and thoughts, and
I think we all are.
every year it seems to be different.
Hmm. You know,
Did you see what your dog did?
you know, sorry,
It's
got
okay.
distracted.
It's okay.
I was trying to think of when I went from being able to receive gifts,
Mhm.
and why I brought up the pride thing. When I had my stroke, I had to receive many times,
Right.
and the only thing that got in the way of receiving gratefully and joyfully was my pride.
Mm.
So that, I think that's maybe why I asked you, is it a pride thing? Because it was like my pride of having to receive to make do, and then now I can joyfully receive from others, knowing that out of the abundance that I receive, I can then pour out to others and give.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very good. And I do think sometimes it was prideful, like, well, I can take care of myself. I don't need this stuff. And then, like I said, I don't know. For me, I think too, a lot of it just goes back to the heart. Like, it's like people are forced. Oh, well, it's Christmas. You have to give presents now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's your birthday. You have to give presents now. Oh, it's Valentine's Day. You have to give presents now. It's your anniversary. You have to give a present now. And I don't like that. I don't like being told what to do.
Uh-huh.
I don't like people saying, "Oh, you're going to do this," or "Oh, you can't do it that way." And I don't know. And maybe that's a pride
Rebel without a cause. A rebel with a cause.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's just, I think it takes, to me, and again, this is just probably my weird thinking, but it just takes the sincerity out of it. Well, we have a completely different reason for not liking Valentine's Day anymore. But I don't know. I mean, and maybe that's where a lot of this started, is the year that my dad passed away and got sick. Because there were a lot of dates associated with his illness and then his death. And so maybe that's where I lost. I don't know. I did actually ask Kevin recently, like, did I ever get excited about Christmas? He's like, no, not really. I'm like, okay, I don't feel so bad then. It's just, I guess it's just not my thing. I don't know. But if you're, and I posted something on LinkedIn. I think I did on my other social medias as well, about mental health and our numbers to call, because this is a very tough time of the year. And I'm looking for it. Are you looking for it? Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Got it? Okay. So yeah, if anyone is listening in the next, well, at any time, honestly, but definitely during the holiday season, this is a very stressful time for a lot of people. And it is a very hard time for a lot of people, as we mentioned earlier, especially if you've lost a loved one this year, or you yourself have gone through a lot of hardships. You're not alone. And Fran and I are we'd be happy to listen, but we're not trained. We're not experts. And the people at these numbers, 741-741 or 988, are trained and they are experts. If you need somebody to talk to, they're available 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. Reach out. Don't go through this thinking nobody will understand. There are lots and lots of people who understand the struggle. Maybe they can't empathize. Wait, I said that backwards. They're empathizing, but they can't understand because they haven't walked exactly in your path, but they can empathize and they can help you and support you and walk beside you. So please reach out to one of these numbers and don't do it alone. And don't give up.
Yes.
Okay, Fran, it's time.
It's time.
It's time.
Well, Merry Christmas. I pray
you.
that you find joy in our Savior's birth and not get tied up in all the other stuff.
Amen. That is my wish for you and all of our viewers as well. I don't know if I'm available next week. Are you available next time?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't even know what the next day is. My phone is buzzing.
I heard that. So
sorry about
if
that.
you don't want to miss any time that we happen to pop on, be sure to subscribe or like, and you will get the notification when we go live. Thank you for joining us, Mom, and anyone else who joined in. We wish you a Merry Christmas. And in case we don't see you next week, Happy New Year. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.